I thought about this the other day about how like I'm not a fan of stinky pussy. I don't know about y'all, but it's absolutely this the worst smell in the world. And I had a girl one time had vaginosis. I couldn't tell her. I just broke up. I just slowly stopped having sex with her until she left me.
It's
a true story.
29 more times.
Yeah, a real. So I noticed this problem, and so I handled it in the most masculine way I could.
I swear,
I neglected her until she left and wrote a corner.
I didn't want. Look, I don't know what the right answer to that scenario was, Taylor. But I didn't feel like it was going to be like, hey, your vagina smells so putrid. I don't want to fuck you anymore.
I mean, that would have been a tough situation because the whole time you're like, I don't want to like give her some complex or something where she's fucked up the rest of her life feeling bad about her pussy. But also like this needs to be addressed the same way. Like if every time, imagine if I had the most aggressive athlete's foot imaginable and I was walking around the apartment with just shit all over my feet. Like at some point she'd have to be like, put some socks on.
And she couldn't smell it clearly because like as soon as we would start going at it, like we're in like, just imagine missionary position. And like my head is above her head and I am getting hit with it. I'm being assaulted with stank. And I'm thinking like, it's more intense for her right now than it is for me. It has to be. Like when I would go to wash my dick off after, I'd be, oh, poor guy. Poor guy. I'm sorry I did that to you. Oh God, I'm sorry.
And then you're focusing on the smell more. And so like now you're fucking with like a 71% hard dick because you're kind of just wanting it to be over.
I take a lot of Cialis. It's
I forget that you're on PEDs.
Yeah, I'm all
penis enhancement drugs.
Penis enhancement drugs. But what I was going to say is like there's this letter from Napoleon to his mistress, wife, whatever, and I think he's like 3 or 4 days from being back to France. He's been at war, and he's like, "Coming home, baby. Don't wash. Be there in 3 days."
Oh, okay.
He says, he literally says, like, "I'll be there in 3 days. Don't wash."
I mean, after you've been spending all day on like a battlefield with a bunch of gangrenous wounds and flesh and disgusting stuff, viscera everywhere, I bet a stinky pussy really pales in comparison to that wartime rot. No. But also, he was just a freak.
No, I grew up on a chicken farm. I'm telling you, ain't nothing worse than like we throw the dead chickens in what we call a chicken pit, and you can probably imagine how we got there. And they just rot in that hole in the ground, and it's got a concrete pad on top of it, and then there's a hole formed in the concrete that's the exact same size as a 5-gallon bucket. That's your lid. You put that in the hole. Now the stink can't escape the chicken pit. It's for all intents and purposes, the whole farm won't be stunk up now. But when you go to like dump your dead chickens into that pit, you uncap that bitch, and the sunlight shines down into that maggoty evil down there, and it's a sea of maggots, Taylor. All the flesh has turned black and putrid and gelatinous. It's purple and bloated, and the maggots are audible. If you listen close, you can hear like a macaroni and cheese noise down below. Still, that pussy was worse.
That's you're right. Sorry, go ahead.
My first wife was an ER nurse and in Athens, Georgia, and there's a lot of chicken poultry stuff around there. And they had a lady come in one night. She didn't speak English, but they had a similar chicken pit at this chicken processing place, and she somehow fell in the pit and was there for like hours before somebody found her. And of course they found her and got her out and like hauled her into the ER. And of course, as you can imagine, the smell was just overwhelming, but she had some sort of like psychological breakdown over that. Apparently, like it was like life-changing to be stuck in the chicken pit with all that for so long. I can't imagine. She was in there for like hours, like went on a smoke break or something. I don't know how she fell in. Nobody could figure that out, but I went in the chicken pit, which is about the worst things I could think of. But speaking of Napoleon, traditionally, literature, whatever, there's this mystique that like French people are like the best lovers. Mm-hmm. And I've heard a theory that is because they don't bathe as often as a lot of other cultures do, and that they have more, pheromones and things like that, and that people have this olfactory connection to each other when they're having sex. So that little bit of BO and all that actually people respond to that on a chemical level, perceiving French people to be better in bed than they actually are. No idea if that is true, but as what I
not in the 21st century, I wouldn't imagine, but I could buy that maybe. I think everybody was always stinky, though, if I'm being honest. I think we used to stink real bad It's just this last 100 years where we stopped stinking so bad. We got all those great deodorant was invented. You know, indoor plumbing, the ability to wash, like air conditioning. Everybody, and then the clothing has changed too. You look at those Wild West photos. Those what are they called? The chromatites or whatever. What are those photos called?
Daguerreotype.
Yeah, I knew you knew it. And those guys are like, they're dressed for like winter weather in the middle of South Texas. Everyone, and it's like wool.
Yeah.
Everybody must have stunk to high heaven. And again, like everybody. I'm so glad we live now. Like,
and in old times, you'll like read stuff like the Romans would rub cloves on their armpits to reduce the stink, and it's like, all right, I've in the 21st century tried all natural deodorants before, and it's a joke. It makes you smell like stinky potpourri. Like it doesn't hold back the storm. It just masks it in a way that almost makes it grosser. Because
my
it's
Old
really
Spice
not
doesn't have
much.
aluminum, but it has whatever the alternative to aluminum is, and it works. But it doesn't work. It quits after 24 hours. Like I noticed that. Like if I take a shower like early in the day and then I come around to the next day and I don't shower until the evening, I'm like, I'm starting to smell a little. Like it gives up after 24 hours for sure.
24 hours is such a. I have a can of like spray deodorant that I bought recently, and then I used it once, and it like immediately like turned to like a weird paste in my underarm, and I'm like throwing this away, not using it. But it says 72 hours of scent prevention of fucking.
I got a story,
and it's like fuck yourself, 0 shot. This I will dominate this challenge. Invite me to the fucking Old Spice HQ and put it to the test. Not a chance. 72 hours. Just a ridiculous lie.
So there was this guy that wanted to smell good. He was applying like can after can of deodorant, and instead of bathing, and it killed him.
Just weird. Just bathe. It feels nice to bathe.
A teenager died from deodorant fumes because of his obsession with personal hygiene. 16 years old. He had 10 times the lethal dose of propane and butane in his blood. Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Jonathan became obsessed with smelling fresh and would cover his entire body in deodorant at least twice a day. He died after suffering a heart attack. It's believed that the gases built up in his body over months, during which Jonathan repeatedly sprayed himself in the bathroom of his home. The coroner recorded a verdict of accidental death. His father says, when we told him he was using too much, he said he just wanted to smell good. He said that, Jesus. I wonder if something happened at school where they made fun of him for being stinky and he got like a complex and then poisoned himself.
Oh,
Yeah, for real. Or like you get used to the smell, and now it's like anything else. You get used to it, so you think you need more and more. And your friends are like, "Dude, we can't." Our eyes are watering, but to him, it seemed normal. But that's terrible,
Right?
Yeah, what terrible parents.
Way to go. Yeah, they should have stepped in before he died.
I mean, I'm sure they had no way of knowing he would end up dying. They just thought, man, that kid smells strong.
Yeah, but it says he's standing in his bathroom, and that was a UK website, and they got littler bathrooms over there. And so he's standing in there, door closed, a can and a half of that a day or whatever. And you know how long it takes to spray a whole can of that stuff? So you're standing in a fog for minutes.
Probably what he
at a
wanted.
time. Just big.
I bet he felt like I'm hot boxing deodorant.
Oh, it's billowing up
Perfect.
now.
Right,
There we go.
Yeah, like the parents could have been able to, like, they could have seen it coming out from the crack at the bottom of the door.
What a dumb fucking way to die.
I'm still stuck on Napoleon writing his wife. Like, if he's 3 days out, when did the letter get there? Did the letter get there? Was it much faster than Napoleon?
I imagined he sent a rider. And I feel like Napoleon can handle that. For the emperor, they could probably
maybe
send
a
fast
day?
rider.
Yeah. Did they have pigeons back then that were carrying messages like in World War One?
I bet they
don't know
did.
if Napoleon had a pigeon, but
You have one marathon runner who like dies to put that message in her hands.
He used to manage a horse farm years ago.